State of the Union, this camp winds down here.
State of the Union, we just started camp.
The throw part's about over.
There's still more camp to happen.
What'd you get done out here?
I think guys got acquainted. I think there's still a lot of work to be done. We still have a couple more preseason games, but I like where we're at so far.
Specific to the work that still needs to be done.
Continue to just keep getting better at the little things, whether it's tackling, on defense, get more acquainted on offense with a lot of different personnel guys, but defense, we just got to continue to keep working on the communication. We've only had one game to really work on that communication front and trying to get better at that. Anything
Surprise you in a good way about what you've seen out here?
A lot of young guys that can play. Whether it's a guy like Herbig, Joey Porter Jr., then the newer faces we've had, Pat P, Keanu Neal. I just think we have a good group of guys that we brought in. So, just trying to get acquainted with them.
Do you feel like there's a little more of a calmness or confidence from the team as a whole, going into the second preseason game?
Calmness for some. For others, we didn't get a chance to play, so we still got to knock off some rust.
When you talk about the communication issues, Cam, that still need to be worked on, is that something that has to happen in a game, or can you do some of that in practice work?
I like it to happen in a game because you get a real feel for it, communicating in and out of plays. Not that there's a lull between, play to play in practice, but in a game it just flows more faster. You can deal with hurry up. Different situations happen so faster. So we have to be ready to communicate on the field and off the field. So we got to work that once we get to the preseason game.
Does it feel like that's been held up a little bit with some absences, maybe due to injury in the secondary especially?
No, I think it's just you only have 3 preseason games. We didn't play the first one, so there's only so much guys can do if they're not on the field. So hopefully we can address it this week.
How much do you think you're going to play the 1 group?
Not my call. That's up to the guy that makes the calls.
Do you make any suggestions? Or
No. I learned my suggestions don't matter. So I quit doing that.
Can I ask you to talk about Hamlin coming back to Pittsburgh and playing a game? Damar Hamlin?
Oh, yeah, wow. I didn't even think about
Right,
that.
yeah.
I think it's awesome to see where he was last year, to see him back on the field. It's very special. Very big fan of his. I see the work he's doing with his foundation, and I'm just excited to see where he's at. I think we couldn't be more excited to have a guy back on the field, be back with the brotherhood.
Cam, what kind of strides has Keanu made over these last few weeks, and where do you feel his biggest growth point has been?
I think the strides are, he's just getting more comfortable in what he's doing. The first drive, I felt like he was a little nervous, but then he settled down a lot. So he's just going to continue to keep growing in that front. But Keanu's, he's going to go through his ups and downs, but I think for the most part, he's going to come on the right side of this thing.
Thanks, Cam.
Thanks,
Thanks,
yeah.
Cam.
Good stuff.
First of all, how's the health, and what do you think your likelihood of playing Saturday will be?
It feels pretty good. I was glad to be back out there with all the guys running around, and we're going to see it's a day-to-day thing. It's really up to coach, and, yeah, that's how we're playing it.
Was it hamstring?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
You made a play or 2 yesterday, particularly the one in 7 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like you're where you need to be at this part of the process?
Not really. There's always room to improvement, and I feel like I still got stuff to grow on, but it was definitely a good play to get my confidence back going since I missed a couple of practices.
Joey, you've had your camp battles here. How eager are you to go against another team if given the opportunity this weekend?
I can't wait. We've been beating up on each other for a month now, so the fact that we could beat up on a different color jersey is going to be great for all of us.
How important do you think that is for you to get into a couple games here in the preseason in terms of being ready in September?
I feel like it's not mandatory, but I feel like it's definitely needed, especially for a young guy going in. I don't really want my first shots in the fire to be in a regular season. I really want to test it out in the preseason, see where I'm at.
You mentioned beating up on each other. I don't know if you saw this, but there's like 3 fights in the Bills camp last week. How have you guys managed to stay intense without, having to go over the line?
I feel like we're all competitors at the end of the day, and that's what we like to do. We like to compete. Coach always said there's a winner and loser, and you really don't want to be on the losing side of anything, so we all just try to compete and be winners.
When you're, preparing for this preseason game, final reps, kind of getting yourself in the headspace to play a game, what's your routine? What are you trying to work on before you head into it?
Really just all the fundamental stuff I've been working on since I got here, catching the ball, working on my press technique, off man, and everything like that, really understanding the plays and route recognition, that stuff.
I know it was a talking point coming into camp about the communication between everybody, a lot of guys playing either new roles or various roles within the defense. How have you found that's gone, and especially the veterans, how's that sort of passed down to the younger players?
I feel like it's going pretty well. We know as a defense we got to be vocal to be good. That's how the good defense stand in this league. So that's really just our main focus right now, just keep on communicating, keep on getting the checks and everything like that.
All right, let's see. Pat Pete called you quiet. Like it was a relation. You're comparing you to your dad. So maybe to your dad, everybody's quiet. But do you consider yourself quiet, or is that, or do you want to be quiet, or is it a rookie thing to be quiet, or?
No, that's just who I am, really. I'm just a laid-back guy. Once I get to know you a little bit more, I start to talk a little bit more and stuff like that. But really, as a rookie, I'm just trying to come in and learn new stuff. So yeah, I'm just sitting back and observing.
Going into this weekend, knowing DeMar Hamlin's coming back to town and being a Pittsburgh guy, what's that going to be like on the field to see him walk out there giving everything?
That's going to be great. He's a PA guy. He's a Pittsburgh guy. What he's done in the past couple months meant a lot to everybody. The fact that he's giving back and being with the youth and everything is great. I just can't wait to see him suit up and play.
Thanks, Bill. Looks like you guys got a pretty good rotation going inside. How do you see that playing out? What are the different capabilities do you think you three guys in particular?
I think when you're versatile in any group, that it's better for the team. Personally, I think we all work well together, and through game planning, it's just however we sort it out to be for that week, and whatnot like that.
Mike Tomlin had said when you guys got here, he wanted to be open to pleasant surprises. Alexander wasn't even on the roster then.
Yeah.
And now it looks like he's getting into the mix. What are you seeing out of him versus what you knew of him?
I think he's doing a very good job of, he got in late in the process, and he's doing a great job of, getting adapted to what we do defensively, communicating with us well and stuff like that. And when he getting his opportunities, making the best of them. And I just think that's how it should be right now with all 90 guys on the roster.
Kind of the same thing for Holcomb. Is he sort of what you thought he'd be?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, everybody just out here trying to take advantage of their opportunities when they are out there, all 90 of us.
Any concerns that you have so many guys that were elsewhere last year that look like they're going to play pretty significant roles on the defense this year?
I wasn't here last year, so I don't.
I mean, you got a lot of new guys coming in.
Yeah.
Can you come together as quickly?
Well, I feel like that's the whole NFL. Every year, all 32 teams got different players, different amounts of people in certain rooms. So all you can do is do your job, and that's making sure your communication on point. Getting in early if need be, making sure we're ready to go. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's it. That's all we can do.
What have you learned about being in a room with Aaron Curry, just leading the position?
I think very smart, minded guy. Like him as a coach. You can ask him a lot of questions from any standpoint, very football savvy and stuff like that. And sometimes, him being a player, kind of understands certain situations. So, yes, it's been a good experience.
I would say, how different is it having a guy that was a player and a pretty recent player as the position coach versus someone that's maybe a little bit more removed from being a player?
I don't know. I just think when it comes to them guys, I just think it's how they approach it. I feel like AC, do a great job of getting us prepared for practice, getting us ready to go and whatnot like that. So,
Did you have any kind of relationship with him before you guys both ended up in Pittsburgh?
No, the whole room knew. So we all learning each other.
When you talk about doing your job at Landon, does it feel like this position, inside linebacker, off-ball linebacker, is more specialized than it's ever been before?
What you mean?
Hey, you've got guys who specifically are run backers. You've got guys that are specifically coming in on nickel and dime situations. Is it important to be able to play all aspects of the position and be more of a three-down inside linebacker?
I think personally, when you're able to, when you got the versatility that you can, maybe if you labeled a two-down backer, but you can go 3 downs, long as when that 3-down situation come for you and you're able to hold for the team, it just shows that we have a lot of versatility in that room.
Do you have a comfort level one way or the other?
Very comfortable, always. Y'all good?
Can you hit harder than you did that first day?
The first one, you talking about on the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I left a little in the tank. I still got some gas.
Thanks, man.
Back to maybe even mini camp and OTAs that you've seen from him kind of growing into those roles?
I mean, he's done a good job. I mean, our vets in the room, they're really hard on him, and he does a really good job of like taking the information and applying it to practice. So I think he's been doing good so far.
How difficult is it to do that, to jump around so many positions, especially for someone like him who's a rookie coming in here?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I haven't had to do anything like that, and so I mean, I wouldn't be the person to ask, but I mean, that's why you don't see a lot of people do it, is because it's so hard, and so he's done a really good job so far.
Is the biggest part of that, is it the technique of it? Is it like the cerebral aspect, knowing the assignments? I mean, can you kind of put a finger on like what's the biggest learning curve to try to be that versatile?
Just like different things. I mean, it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know, like if you're used to like, if you're like cooking or something and like you always use like stainless steel, but now like you go over to someone else's house and they use non-stick. It's just stuff like that, you know. It's like, it's the same thing, but it's like different. It's different ways to do it. And Spencer does a good job. I mean, he knows like when we call like a play, he knows like left tackle does this, right tackle. Even if he's at right tackle, he knows like the left tackle and left guard should be doing this. So when he looks at the plays like that, it's easier for him to understand everything.
James, you like to cook? That was an interesting reference.
No, I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of it. I'm sorry.
Coming up with something new at the end of camp.
Yeah.
James, are you guys in good position to run against nickel if you want to, even with 3 wide receivers?
Yeah. I mean, there's good scripted runs against nickel, and there's good scripted runs against teams base. So our coaches do a good job of like scripting runs and making sure that we can run versus nickel or base, depending on what the play is and who's in there and all that stuff.
You've taken advantage of that a few times in 7 shots. It looks like.
What do you mean?
Najee out of a 3 wide.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You did it yesterday, right?
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Is it a pretty hard and fast rule for you guys that if someone has a mental error pre-snap that kind of get it out for a rep, like a false start or something like that here in camp?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Has that been like a hard and fast rule from the coaches that if an O lineman false starts or has a mental error, like they kind of miss the next rep, and that's like a quick way to try to fix things?
Oh yeah. I mean, our coaches have been big like this offseason, like holding people accountable, especially for like non-talent issues, so like false starts, MAs, things like that. And so our coaches have done a good job of like sticking with that and making sure like it shows that they really care about it.
But how difficult is it to do that out here when TJ Watt is the guy on the other side and you need like every possible timing advantage to try to get a step on him?
I mean, luckily, TJ he can't hit our quarterback, so it's a lot different happening in practice than in the game. But hopefully, like we instill those values in practice, so in the game we don't have to worry about it.
James, what was the significance of that first drive for you guys to be able to march down in that first preseason?
I thought it was good. I mean, we mixed up, we did some different things, but I mean, it's always nice to get like live game reps, but I mean, those weren't their starters, so I mean, we shouldn't really look much into that.
James, compared to last year, you guys obviously had a lot of turnover on the line. How much more farther along do you feel with this group going into this year, and just maybe the continuity aspect?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, we've been, for the majority part, like I've been with the guys for a year, so like personally for me, like I'm more comfortable. I mean, we have better friendships and things like that, so it's been good so far.
Mason Cole said Pat's really underrated as an offensive line coach. If you had a message about what Pat has done to help you guys, what is it? What does he do well to help that run?
He's just very focused on like, he's just very focused on like his like techniques and things like that. I mean, every guy in the room, he holds them to like a certain standard, and like when they're not having good technique, he always talks about it, and he takes his time during film, and it takes a long time to watch film just because he's constantly talking about like different techniques and things like that.